Post-match interview here at the Erie following today's FA Cup win over Canvey Island. Dave, I don't really know where to start. I mean, what a unbelievable achievement from the club to not only beat opposition from step 3, but also to do it with 9 men as well. You must be absolutely delighted.
Just honestly, it's the most amazing day ever. I just like you kind of, I don't know how to put it into words, because we came in, with what's going on today, and I came in and had a bit of a game at half time, although we'd gone 1-0 up, because I felt that we were just clonking it back to them. And then it's quite weird, we go down to 10 and start to play, and it's just, I don't know how to put it into words, because the second half felt like it was about 7 second halves. Every time I asked Amy or Wayne the time, it was the same time left as I'd asked them about what felt 10 minutes earlier. So it just kept going and going and going. And it was one of those, and we go down to 9, and they've got, I would imagine they had about 7 centre forwards on by the end. It was, and 2 wide players stick it in the box. They made 2 great chances. I mean, George has made 2, one with his feet, one with his hands, which were unreal. But God, and it just wouldn't, the time wouldn't go, and then you knew, I actually 5 minutes I was over the moon with, because I thought he was going to say 7 or 8 minutes because of the time he'd had to take to sort things out, and that seemed to take an age. And then, but not crazily, but in such a good way. They obviously, the more pressure was being put on them, and they were going longer and longer, and at the end they were wasting so many balls going out of play, and then Rio in the corner held it up for. It felt, at times it felt like he'd done 30 seconds. He clearly nowhere near. In fact, he'd done brilliant until he gave it to Bondi, who every time rolled it out of play. But the fact is, it was just, it's unreal. I mean, I can't put it into words, if I'm honest with you. It's last season, I mentioned last week, the winning the County Cup was such a great day, but to be where we are now is.
Does today eclipse that, do you think, or?
I think it does, just because of where we are as a club, and with all the battles to try and get a piece of land and get a home ground and everything else, and we certainly keep putting ourselves in the windows of of onlookers. This club with no home keep producing these results. And hopefully one day someone's going to go, do you know what? They deserve a little bit of help. And we certainly we're trying to hopefully make that happen, and we're trying to do our best. But yeah, I think so. I know Skip will tell you it is, because it's meant so much to him again. And to come at the end, and there was. There's some of our supporters in tears today. I mean, I have to say I struggle a bit with it, but you come over and and there's wives and mums and girlfriends in tears, and what an ovation, what a crowd we had here today. What a football club. Love it.
Skip, you said in the bar when we was talking very briefly, these are what we put in all the hard yards for, and all the hours for. You must be thinking, when we go down to 10 men in the game today in the first half, you must be thinking the worst. But how sort of proud are you of the squad, in the fact that we could easily have got despondent. I said it in the tweet at half time. We could easily have got despondent when we go down to 10 men, but it was almost like the players rolled their sleeves up and thought, we fancy this today, and even with 10 men, we fancy going toe to toe with this opposition. And obviously we score soon after, and we go into half time 1-0 up, and then I wouldn't even say it was a rearguard effort in the second half, because we still had opportunities and stuff. But as I say, the pride in watching this squad today, which they were to a man. You need everybody in a game like this to be a 9 and 10 out of 10, and they certainly were today.
Great away! That's Laurie. Showed up at last. Right, answer the questions there. The one thing I said to them, which was the previous round, don't have any regrets. Don't drive away from here with regrets of what could have happened. And it was tense initially, because you're playing a side that's a level higher. I didn't think there was much in it, but we weren't playing anywhere near our capabilities. We were going long, as Dave's already mentioned. We were giving it away cheap. When we did pass it around, we did open up and create a few opportunities. And I think, answer to your question, when we went down to 10 men, for me personally speaking, for myself, I wasn't able to enjoy the next period of play because the excuse is already there. You've lost because you've gone down to 10 men, so you can walk off there. As long as we didn't sort of get annihilated, the excuse was there. Well, we were down to 10 men. Easy to say now because people won't say it's sour grapes, but it wasn't a good decision for me. You're looking, he's won the ball, he's won the ball that hard, it's actually gone 30, 40 yards out to the side. Do
you think that we're almost in a period now where you almost can't make a tackle? I would say, and I know from speaking to Tim after the game, it feels like 10, 15 years ago, nobody would even bat an eyelid with that tackle, but because any sort of tackle with force these days seems to be punished, and the fact that he's on a yellow card as well gives the referee a decision to make.
Yeah, it did, but again, the moment he's made his decision, and that card's come out quite quick. I'd like to see the VO footage of that. That card's come out very quick, which is one of the things is referees are told to take time, to just have a breathing space, just compute what you've just seen before you make that rash decision. But getting back to your first question, we've gone down to 10. For me, then the players settled down because they're able to think, they say, right, we're down to 10 men. There's the excuse if we don't win. They settled down, played as we should have done for the next 8 or 9 minutes and created 2 or 3 chances, and Laurie scored the goal. You get into half time and all of a sudden now it's a matter of everybody's buzzing. You've got something to hold on to. So the next part of it becomes the first 10 minutes of the second half. Don't give anything cheap away. Try and get through 10 minutes, and then you're looking at your clock, try and get for another 10 minutes. And then, of course, you're then heading towards the 90 minutes marks. And then I didn't enjoy the game. So I've enjoyed it from when we got sent off, when Fisher got sent off, because we were competing. And if the result hadn't gone our way, those lads, pat on the back because they give everything, as David said, they have worked their socks off, and then you suddenly get to 80 minutes, then you can see the finish line, then my watch stopped, then the referee's booking people. I mean, he's booking people for just about anything and everything. It was, unbelievable.
I think the thing that I like the most about this squad this season is, I think when we've gone into second qualifying rounds, games in the past, obviously it's third qualifying round today, but we've got to the second qualifying round 4 times. Yeah. And I feel like we've always had an attitude, we're just happy to be there, and we just, this is brilliant, it's a great thing. But I just feel like, particularly this season, I would say at Basildon as well when we was away, when we've got backs against the wall, there is a real grit and determination about this squad to roll our sleeves up and go, you know what, we can rub shoulders with anybody that we come up against, and that must be really pleasing from your aspect.
It is. If you used to say to me 12 months ago, you're going to get this far without Tom Coles and Alex Marsh, who between them probably score 75% of our goals year on year. So you're thinking, where are the goals coming from? So while we're not prolific goal scorers, there's a steel about this side. Yeah. There's a desire about this side. And I'm going to big up Tim and James, because in these rounds here, we watched. I went to watch the first opponent, Stansted, and then we've watched the London Lions, and then we had Basildon watched, and then we've had Canvey Island watched. So I'm going to sit there and say, as a group, we've took this run as seriously as we ever have done. And like you said, get to the second qualifying round and pat yourself on the back, and then go into a game more hoping and is fortune on your side. So this time,
I also think as well, as I say, particularly as I say, we all go into the FA Cup wanting to get as far as we can every year. But we've always, in past seasons, maybe thought the prize money is massively important to us, so that adds that added pressure onto it as well. Whereas I feel like we've not really done that this season. It's like, look, let's just focus on the fact it's a game. We want to go as far as we possibly can, and I just feel like we've relished it more rather than been worried about failing, or not getting through, if that makes sense.
It does, and I think every team, when Tim's gone to watch them, and then he's spoken to James, you looked at the opposition, and while each opponent has been a good opponent, we haven't had an easy round, we haven't had a gimme round, But each opponent, you're feeling if we turn up and play, we've got a chance. So at some point that's not going to be the case. Let's be realistic here. At some point you're going to come up against somebody who's just going to be far too strong for us, and we're not kidding ourselves. But let's see what the draw brings tomorrow. But this group of players, I mean, unbelievable. We're heading towards October. We've had a couple of iffy performances. One in the league when I thought we were very good against Aylesbury and we lost 3-0. And the other one was the FA Trophy, which
that was probably the biggest letdown so far this season.
It was, but then I'm going to look on the positive side. Has that result
just given us the kick that we needed?
Given us the kick, given the players the reminder. You can't just turn it, and I'll take some of the blame for that result, because we've had an unbelievable result at Basildon the week before. So I've gone in there and the mindset wasn't there. We're cracking jokes. We weren't switched on. We've gone out with the wrong attitude to warm up, and the whole game just went pear-shaped. So I'm going to sit there and say, me personally, maybe the others will take some of the blame as well. That's made us focus for other games. So today, again, they've all turned up on time. We're sitting there, first time back at Bedford since the pitch has been laid. I mean, I was concerned because I've never played a full match myself on 3G. But
they weren't around when you played, were they?
They weren't around, no, it's all mud. Grass wasn't around when I played. It was just mud. But the stress on the calves and the hamstrings, and I was worried. Some of them, I don't want to start naming people, but Rio and Peter in the midfield.
I was just going to mention their work rate. And so we're talking about lads, and they're not experienced campaigners. They're 18 and 19 years old. It's incredible.
Oh, I thought those two, the work rate. I mean, young Peter's 17. He's a Cambridge United scholar. He's had to come off because of cramp. I mean, it was gutting to lose him, because he was actually just, I'm not saying controlling the game, but I don't think they tackled him. He knew where the ball was going before he received it. I mean, that is an unbelievable performance from a 17-year-old. So when he came off with cramps, it shows how much running that lad's done. Oh, just all round, just the whole day. How it was set up from Tim and James to turning up on time to the performance. It's just, it's brilliant.
Perfect.
Nothing left for James to talk
about.
Yeah.
I was just one thing I wanted to ask James from a tactical perspective. We go down to 10 men after 37, 38 minutes. What are you discussing as a management team, thinking it would have been easy to just go, look, we're playing 3 at the back, Fisher's been sent off, do we bring another centre half on and go exactly as we were? But I think the fact that we've gone ultra positive and gone, you know what, we're gonna keep playing on the front foot, and I think that's played a part in us getting our noses in front, because I think, I mean, it was a bit of a rearguard action at times in the second half, but to be positive in adversity, I think, has played a part in the outcome of today's game as well.
It did, Lynn. I think basically the conversation was around, we didn't want to sacrifice the body to drop them back too deep and not have the outlet going forward, as you kind of alluded to. So that was having Amir and Bailey at the top still, and just having the 2 fullbacks having to do a lot more work, with Pete and Rio having to perhaps go out to wider areas to sacrifice the fact that we've lost one centrally. So it was more about trying to keep the ball better, like Skip and Dave have already said, but more so having an out ball, because at the end of the day, when you're playing a team like we were, they are going to be playing, quite direct, quite often. At the end of the day, it's a cup game, so they're not going to worry in the same way that we are how you win ultimately, because you need to win. So whilst we had to take all that into consideration at 2 snap points, didn't we, and a few other areas as the game unfolded, I think it was more about making sure that we weren't too deep and sinking. Because again, when you get a 1-0 lead, it's easy to sink, isn't it? And we didn't want to do that. And then as the game went on, we then blocked up. There's 2 banks of 4 basically for about 10 minutes or so, wasn't it? When we started to make the change when Charlie went off.
About 120 minutes.
120 minutes if you go by Dave's watch, that's it. And about 10 minutes, I think
I
it
think
was.
I
On my watch as well.
was following his watch as well, to be fair.
And like Dave and Skip said, you players like Rio and Pete, and all of them ran themselves into the ground, didn't they? But in those particular areas where it was quite direct and they were playing out to wide areas to get balls in, that was where a lot of the work rate came. And then obviously Bond and Ethan came on with a really good shift as well. So just great outcome.
Excellent stuff. Dave, just finally, obviously the draw tomorrow. Any particular thoughts on whether we want to be home away or the sort of opposition we want to play, or?
I think probably Skip's alluded to it. I mean, we know it's going to end at some stage. We're not daft, and so you just, you know, James spoke at the start. He said all along that he thinks if we could get just a big draw somewhere, he just wants to pit. You know, we want to pit ourselves against somebody like that. There's no disrespect to anybody else in it, but the national sides come in, and if we're lucky, let's dream that we could get one of those and have that great day, you know.
Would you want that to be home or away, or are you not?
I think from our point of view, we'd like to play someone to get about 10,000 at home games, but me and go away to, if I'm really honest with you. But I think we just look. Whoever comes out will be great. We know at some stage it's going to come to an end, but let's hope we get somebody big and have a great tie.
A wonderful day for our football club, gents. Congratulations. We look forward to the draw tomorrow, and then we'll get Tim masterminding the journey through to the first round proper as well if we're lucky enough. Cheers, gents. Well done.
Thanks, Lee. Cheers.